PCCD and OVS want to better inform and educate the field with the OVS Consolidated Standards. Pennsylvania has long been considered a leader when it comes to these operational standards that are designed to maintain quality services and programming delivered by skilled advocates and staff. The standards are meant to be a guide to VSPs for best practices and excellent service delivery, provide minimum expectation for VSPs, and ensure uniformity of service delivery across the Commonwealth. The standards provide the minimum expectation of victim service delivery to ensure professionalism of the victim services field. PCCD and OVS has launched a series of recordings that will walk program staff through our standards. The OVS newsletter will announce new recordings as they are available. Training on ethical standards will be presented in two parts, each being up to 30-minute recordings. In this recording, ethical responsibilities to the community and society as professionals and to the victim services profession are discussed. Part 1 of the ethical standards for VSP staff has been developed and released, which discusses ethical responsibilities to clients as colleagues and in practice settings. OVS requires that both trainings related to the updated ethical standards be completed. Completing both recordings will allow for 1 full hour of training toward annual training requirements. The ethical standards for VSP staff creates the foundation for and addresses the ethical responsibilities required by those who work in the victim services profession, regardless of whether direct services are provided. All program staff must be familiar with and uphold these ethical standards. There are a total of 6 sections to ethical standards for victim services program staff. This PowerPoint presentation covers sections 4, 5, and 6 of the ethical standards. All programs receiving RAZA, VOJO, and/or VOCA funds from PCCD must have staff review and sign an acknowledgement agreeing to uphold the ethical standards. This acknowledgement shall be retained in the employee's personnel file. OVS staff will need to view the signed acknowledgments forms during programmatic monitoring. Please note that the ethical standards were updated in 2022. Following this training, the program staff contact assigned to your grant can help answer individual questions about ethical standards. To recap from part 1, ethical standards are a key piece to the mission and work of the organization. Ethics are necessary to guide programs and staff in appropriate behaviors, whether working with victims, as colleagues, as community collaborators, and/or with the greater community. This training is intended to provide guidance, keeping in mind that it is not all-inclusive of every possible situation that could arise. Every person and case will be different. Ethical values and behavior include a commitment to services, the dignity and worth of the individual, integrity, competence, social justice, confidentiality, self-determination, and the importance of human relationships. Consider the ethical standards as a roadmap to build an ethical mindset in victims' services, in your agency, and in the community. Victim services staff have an ethical responsibility to the community and society. Staff shall recognize and challenge myths, attitudes which are detrimental to victims and victims' rights movement, support social, legal, economic, educational, political, and cultural instructions that promote violence-free and non-oppressive environments across all segments of society, promote economic welfare, and political power to enable victims to make choices for the betterment of their lives, advocate for the well-being of children, and act to eliminate the exploitation of children, act to expand choice and opportunity for all with special regard for disadvantaged and oppressed groups, work in collaboration with other groups and organizations to further the mission of the victims' rights movement, be knowledgeable about other systems that impact crime victims. BSP staff have ethical responsibilities as professionals. BSP staff will only accept new responsibilities related to existing competencies or the desire to acquire the necessary competence, must be competent and remain proficient in professional practices and the performance of professional functions. This includes a critical examination and remaining current with relevant knowledge in the victim services field. Shall practice based on recognized knowledge, including that which is empirically based. Shall not participate in, condone, or be associated with any form of discrimination. Shall not permit personal conduct or beliefs to interfere with the ability to fulfill professional responsibilities. Shall not participate in nor condone dishonesty, fraud, deception, or engage in criminal behavior. Victim services staff shall not allow personal issues or mental health difficulties to interfere with the professional judgment and performance. Staff must act in the best interest of the clients and exercise professional responsibilities. In times of difficulty, staff shall seek consultation with their supervisor or designee where personal matters are adversely affecting job performance. It is important to take appropriate action to protect clients, staff, and others. Victim Service Program staff shall make clear distinctions between statements made and actions engaged in as a private individual and as a representative of the victim services profession, a professional organization, or the VSP staff's employing agency. VSP staff who speak on behalf of professional victim services agencies shall accurately represent the authorized position of the organizations. Staff shall ensure that their representations of professional qualifications, credentials, education, competence, affiliations, services provided, or results to be achieved to clients, agencies, and the public are accurate. ESP staff shall only represent those relevant credentials they possess and take steps to correct any inaccuracies or misrepresentations of their credentials by others. Staff shall not engage in solicitation of testimonial endorsements, including solicitation of consent to use a client's prior statement as a testimonial endorsement from clients or from other people who, because of their circumstances, are vulnerable to undue influence, manipulation, or coercion. ESP staff shall take responsibility and credit, including authorship credit, only for work where they have performed themselves or to which they have contributed, as well as honestly acknowledging the work of and contributions made by others. Victim Services Program staff shall work toward the maintenance and promotion of high standards of service provision. VSP staff shall uphold and advance the values, ethics, knowledge, and mission of the profession. They shall also protect, enhance, and improve the integrity of the profession through the appropriate study and research, active discourse, and responsible criticism of the profession. VSP staff shall contribute time and professional expertise to activities that promote respect for the value, integrity, and competence of the victim services profession. These activities may include teaching, participating in, consultation, service, legislation, testimonies, presentations in the community, and participation in professional organizations. Staff shall act to prevent the unauthorized and unqualified practice of victim services. When conducting program evaluation and participating in research, VSP staff shall critically examine and keep current the emerging knowledge relevant to victim services. They should evaluate their program practices and use research evidence in their professional practice. Any VSP staff engaged in program evaluation may utilize surveys or studies to measure the effort or outcome of victim services. Staff conducting program evaluations or participating in research efforts shall follow guidelines developed for the protection and evaluation of research participants. Appropriate institutional review boards shall be consulted if human subjects will be involved. See Human Subjects Protection Certification of Compliance, ojp.gov, for reference. VSP staff engaged in program evaluation or participating in research efforts shall follow all privacy considerations for the data and information collected for research, evaluation, or statistical purpose. See BJS Model Privacy Certificate, ojp.gov, for reference. VSP staff should limit access to the data and its analysis only to those individuals with a professional purpose for the information. They shall take appropriate steps to ensure that all participants in evaluations and research have access to appropriate supportive services if needed. If a VSP publicly releases program evaluation or research findings and determines that there are errors, the VSP should take steps to correct the errors in the published data and make note of the revision. Every effort should be given to provide accurate and verifiable results. If you have any questions, please email or call the program staff contact assigned to your grant.